Search and Rescue conducted another search yesterday in the outlying areas of Ephraim. This was the 4th search that they've conducted. During this search, human remains were located on German Road and our office was contacted. There were 2 pieces of information that guided Headwaters in their search efforts. The last known location of Dr. Whiteside and a coordinates off of a cell tower 0.6 of a mile northwest of the tower located on German Road. These areas were searched extensively. The search zone then continued to expand in Ephraim and the surrounding areas, and then finally to the proximity of the tower. It has been reported to us that the property where the remains were located was previously searched by the landowner. The scene was processed by investigators from the Door County Sheriff's Office with the assistance of the Wisconsin State Crime Lab. A .22 caliber handgun was recovered at the scene. I've just spoken with one of our investigators, and based on the autopsy, clothing and personal property found, the subject has been positively identified as Dr. Jeffrey Whiteside. As I previously mentioned, this investigation was conducted in 2 facets, a search component and investigative component. The search component is now being suspended. However, our investigators continue to follow up on the investigative side of this. Additional information will be released as it is available. For law enforcement, this is an investigation. For the media, this is a news story. Please remember, behind this story and behind this investigation is a person, a husband, a father, a doctor, and a co-worker. Please be respectful to the Whiteside family during their time of sorrow and direct any inquiries to their legal counsel. We'll now take a limited number of questions. The majority of the information that I've given you this morning and the update I've just given you, I'm not going to deviate too much from that.
Just want to clarify, I know you said the autopsy and the body's been ID'd as Dr. Whiteside. Can you give us a preliminary idea of the manner of death? I know you mentioned there was a .22 caliber handgun. Can you presume that he took his own life, or
the cause and manner of death will be determined by the medical examiner. It's too early in the stage of the investigation to make that determination.
Does it look like that he passed away in the spot that you found him, or could he have been moved to that area?
We have no indications that he was moved to that area.
You don't believe there was any criminal?
Again, there's still an investigative facet to this investigation that's being followed up on. As I've told many of you throughout this, that we're going to be as thorough and as complete as possible and not rule anything out or make any predetermined decisions.
Is there anything that indicates how long the body was there for?
We believe the body has been there for some time.
Pat, was it difficult to find the body? You said that a neighbor or the property owner searched the area. Was it difficult, hard to find?
Yes, without the assistance of the Headwaters Search and Rescue Canine Group, you would have had to walk right up on top of it in order to find it. The canines were very helpful in this process.
How far was the revolver from Mr. Whiteside?
It was in proximity of where he was found.
Heard rumors that he was found in a deer stand, tree stand. Can you elaborate on any of that?
Those rumors are false. Our officers searched the known deer stands and kind of boxed enclosure stands in that area previously, and that's erroneous.
So was he on the ground, out in the open?
It was a tree-covered area. I wouldn't say it was in the open. Like I said, you had to basically be on top of it to find him.
Do you know if he was familiar with this particular stretch of land there? That he was familiar with the owner at all?
That I do not, but we have no indications previously that he was familiar with it. Otherwise, we would have searched that area sooner.
You said the team, the dog team, they've been through there without success previously. Did they come anywhere near this at the time?
Like I said, the first place they worked off of was that last known location and then the coordinates .6 miles northwest of that cell tower, and they searched that area extensively. And once that area was searched, then they began to expand their search zones to other outlying areas in Ephraim, and then to the proximity of the cell tower. I can tell you from my own personal experience with cell tower coordinates, it's difficult for us to have a triangulation of cell towers just because of our geography. So a lot of times the cell information is valuable, but it is not precise.
What type of a firearm that was found near the scene there? Was it a pistol? Was it a rifle?
22 caliber handgun.
Two questions about the handgun itself. Previous reports indicated that all of the handguns, all of the guns owned by the family had been accounted for. At one point, it was thought that one of them might have been missing. And the other question is, do you know if this particular handgun was owned by Dr. Whiteside or by a member of his family?
To answer your first part first, we had initial reports of a missing handgun, and then the family confirmed with us that all handguns that they known to be owned by, all firearms known to be owned by Dr. Whiteside were accounted for. And that's one of the investigative components that we'll follow up on, is to determine who was the owner of the handgun.
Where was the wound on the body?
I'm not going to release that at this time.
Do you know how many wounds there were?
Again, that's something that will be released based on the medical examiner's report.
What is that slated for?
That's yet to be determined.
Will the toxicology be performed?
That's normally conducted as a part of this. Toxicology reports take several weeks before they are returned.
Has the body been sent out of this area for processing, right, like to Madison? A lot of times deaths go to Madison.
Our medical examiner's office is located in Brown County.
Pat, you talked about this group that eventually found the body, but is there any way you can quantify the amount of assets you had to work with regard to this entire investigation for 3 weeks, the number of searches that were made, air searches, water searches, people searches?
Well, I'll start by talking about the Headwaters Search and Rescue Canine Group. They are accredited, but they are a voluntary group. And their initial search involved 6 dogs. And then they conducted another search midweek, and I don't know the exact number of dogs, but they followed that up last weekend with a search with 4 dogs. One of those dogs coming from as far away as Texas. The search yesterday was conducted with 2 searchers and 1 canine. And part of them being a voluntary group, they try and draw as many people as possible, but they want to make sure that they are accredited, that there is some type of vetting process for these searchers. And it becomes a fatigue issue for dogs and handlers that they need a break after being taxed for searching for a lengthy amount of time. As far as efforts that were conducted by our organization, initially we searched areas known to be frequented by Dr. Whiteside, including a nature preserve off of Moravia in the village of Ephraim. And we also searched around his condominium and the marina where his boat was located. This was followed up by a marine search conducted by the State of Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources in conjunction with our marine unit. And we followed that up with 2 more canvases in the Ephraim area. The first one being a door-to-door canvass, and then a canvass of establishments, lodging establishments, to see if anybody had seen Dr. Whiteside. 2 more searches were conducted of Eagle Harbor and the waters surrounding Ephraim. This was a coordinated effort with aircraft from the Department of Natural Resources and water units from both our Marine Patrol and the Department of Natural Resources.
How far was the body found from the marina where the last sighting of Dr. Whiteside was?
I'd be speculating, but it's walking distance, probably 2 miles. It's just outside of Ephraim. You cross over Town Line Road, and you leave the municipality of Ephraim and enter the township of Liberty Grove.
Again, just I want to make sure I heard you right. You said there is not believed to be any criminal responsibility or activity involved in and,
We haven't, that determination hasn't been made, like I've said from the beginning, we're not gonna prematurely exclude anything. So there is still an investigative facet of this that is going on.
Can you tell us what the fight was about? That the disagreement between?
And again, as I've previously mentioned, I'm not gonna comment out of that.
Do you believe the public is in any danger?
At this point?
Yes.
Absolutely not.
I take it the department has spoken to the family of Dr. Whiteside, how would they do it?
The sheriff and I have spoken with their legal counsel. As mentioned earlier in the week, they requested that all correspondence go through their attorney, and we did pass on our condolences to him to be forwarded to the family.
And do you plan to search the Grand Chutes home?
Again, it'd be premature for me to comment on that as far as what we're gonna do investigative-wise next.
The search has been exhaustive, it's lasted several weeks. Is there a sense of relief from the department to have at least found Dr. Whiteside?
Well, anytime you have a case like this, there is a sense of closure, both for our officers it's been very taxing for a number of our officers that have put in some long hours working this case, and for the family. So, yeah, I think our officers are relieved, but at the same point saddened by the loss of Dr. Whiteside. All right, I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.